my dear students. I welcome you all for the video class. Today I am going to teach you Geography Chapter 7, Our Country India. In this chapter we will discuss about the topics. First one is locational setting, then India's neighboring countries, and India political and administrative divisions. At last we will discuss about the physical divisions of India. At first we will discuss about our country India. India is a unique country of vast geographical expanse with immense cultural variations. Then lofty mountains, extensive plains and plateaus, then network of rivers, then deserts, then coastal plains and long coastal lines spruce up the diverse landscape of this land. Clear, children? In the north of our country is bound by the towering Himalayas and the Arabian Sea, and in the Arabian Sea in the west, and the Bay of Bengal in the east, and the Indian Ocean in the south. Then India has an area of approximately 3.28 million square kilometer. Okay, children, what is the north-south extent is approximately, you may tell? Yes, the north-south extends from Kashmir to Kanyakumari is approximately 3,214 kilometer. Clear, children? Then the east-west extent from Arunachal Pradesh to Kutch is approximately what kilometers, children? 2,933 kilometer. By this way, the lofty mountains, the great Indian desert, the northern plains and the uneven plateau surfaces and the coast and islands present in the kaleidoscopic diversity of landforms. There is widely variety in climate, vegetation, wildlife as well as the culture and languages also. Then one more important thing is India is the 7th largest country in the world in terms of what? In terms of area. Population wise it ranks 2nd in the world. First one is what, children? Yes, China. Then India covers an area of about 32,87,267 square kilometer, which is about 2.2% of total land of the earth. Clear, children? India covers an area of about how many square kilometers? 32,87,267 square kilometer, which is about 2.2% of the total land of the earth. These are some of the introduction about our country, India. Okay, children. At first, we will discuss about the locational setting. Mainly, the India lies in the northeastern hemisphere. Clear? First, we will discuss about the latitudinal extent, then longitudinal extent. Okay, children. First, discuss latitudinal extent. From south to north, India extends from 8 degree 4 minutes north to 37 degree 6 minutes north latitudes. The Tropic of Cancer, 23 degree 30 minutes north, passes through the country. It divides India into almost equal halves. Clear, children? The Tropic of Cancer passes through which areas, children? Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, then Jharkhand, West Bengal, Tripura and Mizoram. The north-south extent of India is about how many kilometers? Yes, 3,214 kilometers. Already I said no. Once again, I will repeat the latitudinal extent. From south to north, India extends from 8 degree 4 minutes north to 37 degrees 6 minutes north latitudes. Clear children? The Tropic of Cancer 23 degree 30 minutes north passes through our country. It divides India into two almost equal halves. Clear? The Tropic of Cancer passes through which areas? Gujarat, Rajasthan, then Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Tripura and Mizoram. Okay. What is the north-south extent of India? Yes, the north-south extent of India is about how many kilometers? 3,214 kilometers. Okay children, next we'll discuss about the longitudinal extent. What it means longitudinal extents? Yes, from west to east, India lies between 68 degree and 7 minutes east to 97 degree 25 minutes east longitudes. Clear children? From west to east, India lies between 68 degrees 7 minutes east to 97 degree 25 minutes east longitudes. Clear? The 82 degree 30 minutes east longitude that passes through the middle of the country is taken as what children? As standard meridian of India. What it means standard meridian of India? The 82 degree 30 minutes east longitudes that passes through the middle of the country is taken as what? Is taken as the standard meridian of India. It passes through Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Orissa and Andhra Pradesh. The east-west extent of India is about how many kilometers children? Yes, already I told no. 2,933 kilometer. Okay. What are the main boundaries of India? Indian Peninsula is bounded by the Great Himalayas in the north, the Indian Ocean in the south, and the Bay of Bengal in the east, and the Arabian Sea in the west. Clear? Indian Peninsula is bounded by the Great Himalayas in the north, the Indian Ocean in the south, the Bay of Bengal in the east, and the Arabian Sea in the west. India is great in many respects. It has glorious past, multiple cultures, languages and religions, then secular government, largest democracy, and then a vast range of landforms and natural resources. Okay children, what it means that main boundaries? Indian Peninsula is bounded by the Great Himalayas in the north, the Indian Ocean in the south, the Bay of Bengal in the east, and the Arabian Sea in the west. Clear? Okay children, are you clear? Okay, we'll move on to next one. We'll discuss about the India's neighbors. Mainly, India shares its international boundary with 7 countries. What are they children? Pakistan and Afghanistan in the northwest side. Clear? Then China, Nepal, Bhutan in the north. Then Myanmar and Bangladesh in the northeast. Then the island countries of Sri Lanka and Maldives or its oceanic neighbors situated in the Indian Ocean. India mainly shares its international boundaries with 7 countries. It is bordered by the countries of Pakistan and Afghanistan in the northwest, then China and Nepal and Bhutan in the north, then Myanmar and Bangladesh in the northeast. Clear children? Then the island countries of Sri Lanka and Maldives or its oceanic neighbors situated in the Indian Ocean. Then the Sri Lanka is also separated from India by the Pak Strait and the Gulf of Mannar. Which one is separated from India by the Pak Strait and the Gulf of Mannar? Yes. Sri Lanka is separated from India by the Pak Strait and the Gulf of Mannar. Are you clear, children? Next, we'll move on to next one. Political and administrative divisions. The above map image is taken by your book only. Kindly check your book page number 49 in your geography book. India is a vast country, especially for administrative purposes. India is divided into 28 states and 8 union territories in present. Clear, children? But in your book they gave 29 states and 7 union territories. These states have been formed mainly on the basis of the languages. Clear? For administrative purposes, India is divided into how many number of states? 28 states and 8 union territories. These states have been formed mainly on the basis of what? Mainly on the basis of languages. Clear, children? Okay, children, which one is called as the smallest terms in terms of area? Yes, smallest state is Goa. In the terms of what? In terms of area. Clear? The states are further divided into what, children? Yes, the states are further divided into districts. Okay? Okay. Which one is the largest in terms of area? Yes, Rajasthan is the largest state, and which is the smallest state? Goa is the smallest state. Clear, children? Okay, children. Next, we'll discuss about the physical divisions. India is a huge country. It is a country of great contrast. It has a variety of people, customs, caste, then languages, religions, and so many things. Due to this diversity, India is a well-known country in the world, but it is also famous for its unity in diversity. Clear? The variety is visible not only in its people, their customs, but it also lies in its landforms. Clear? Children, are you understand what I am telling? It is a variety of people, customs, caste, languages, religions, and so many things, isn't it? Due to this diversity, India is a well-known country in the world, but it is also famous for its unity in diversity. The variety is visible not only in its people and their customs, but it also lies in its what? Landforms. India has a great variety of landforms. These landforms include lofty mountains, plateaus, plains, coast and islands. These are also known as what? As physical features of India. India can be divided into 7 major physical divisions. Okay, children, what are they? Yes, the Great Northern Mountains, then the Great Northern Plains, then the Great Peninsular Plateau, the Great Indian Desert, then the Coastal Plains, the Eastern and Western Ghats. At last one is what? The island groups. Children, kindly check your page number 50 in your geography book. That map is the physical divisions map. So you have to practice in your own. The Great Northern Mountains, first one. Okay. The Himalayan mountains of India are also known as what? Yes, the Himalayan mountains of India are also known as the Great Northern Mountains. Clear? Okay, where it is located? They are located as an are in the northern part of India. They form a natural boundary in the north of our country. They form what? They form a natural boundary in the which side? Yes, north of our country. The Himalayan mountains extended from where to where? Jammu and Kashmir in the west to Arunachal Pradesh and Manipur in the east. Clear? The Himalayan mountains extended from where to where? The Jammu and Kashmir in the west to Arunachal Pradesh and Manipur in the east. Mainly the total length of Himalayan mountains is about 2500 kilometer and their average width varies from 150 to 400 kilometer. Okay, the Himalayas or the Himalayan mountains are divided into three main parallel mountain ranges. Clear, children? The Himalayas or the Himalayan mountains are mainly divided into how many parallel ranges? Three main parallel mountain ranges. Okay, what are they? Yes, Himadri, then Himachal, then Shivaliks. Himadri is also known as what? Yes, the Great Himalaya. Himachal is also known as what? Middle Himalaya. And the last one is what? Shivaliks. These are the three main parallel mountain ranges in which mountain? Yes, Himalayan mountains. Clear, children? These mountains are the main sources of water. Some of the world famous rivers are associated with the Himalayas. Okay, what are the names of that rivers? Indus, Ganga, Yamuna, Koshi, Gandak, Kamala, and so many rivers. These are the major rivers of the Himalayan mountains. Clear, children? Okay. Now we'll discuss about the parallel ranges, parallel mountain ranges. We discussed three so far, no? What are they? Himadri or Great Himalaya, Middle Himalaya or what? Himachal, and the last one is Shivaliks. First we'll discuss about the Great Himalaya or Himadri. Okay, what it mean Great Himalaya? It is in the northernmost mountain range of the Himalayas. Okay, first one is what? It is the northernmost mountain range of the Himalayas. Then the average height of the Himadri is about how many kilometers or meters? Yes, 6000 meters. Average height of Himadri is about how many meters? 6000 meters. Okay, it is permanently covered with snow. The world's highest peak are located in this range only. Mount Everest, the highest peak of the world, is located in this range. Okay, located in this range. Mount Everest is located in which range? Yes, Himadri or the Great Himalaya. Then Gangotri and Yamunotri glaciers also found in where? Himadri. The rivers Ganga and Yamuna rise from these glaciers respectively. Children, once again I'll repeat, just remember it is situated in the northernmost mountain range of what? Himalayas. Okay. Then the average height of the Himadri is about 6000 meters. Then it is permanently covered with what? Snow. The world highest peak, which is called as world's highest peak, Mount Everest. It is located in which range? Yes, Himadri or the Great Himalaya. Then the glaciers, two main glaciers are found in the Himadri. What are the names of the glaciers? Gangotri and Yamunotri. These rivers, Ganga and Yamuna, rise from these glaciers respectively. Are you clear, children? We'll move on to next one. Next one is Middle Himalaya or Himachal. It lies to the south of Himadri. Just imagine, children, it lies to the south of what? Himadri range. Then its average height is about how many meters? 4,500 meters. Average height of Himadri is about how much meters? 6,000. Himachal is 4,500 meter. Many popular hill stations are situated in this range. Then the Pirpanchal and Dhauladhar are the major ranges of the Himachal Himalaya. Then it has a number of longitudinal valleys. The Kashmir and the Kangra Valley are the two of them. Clear, children? Middle Himalaya are the Himachal. Mainly it lies to the south of the Himadri. Okay. Then its average height is about 4,500 meter. Then it has many popular hill stations are situated in Himachal. Then the Pirpanchal and Dhauladhar are the most or major ranges of the Himachal Himalaya. Okay, children, next we'll discuss about the Shivaliks. It is the southernmost range of the Himalayan mountains. It is the average average elevation is about 1,200 meter. Okay. Then it has a large number of longitudinal valleys called duns. First, where it is located, it is the southernmost range of the Himalayan mountains. Then its average elevation is about how many meters? 1,200 meters. Okay. Then it has also a large number of longitudinal valleys that are called as what? Duns. Okay, children, tell some duns of the Himalayan mountains. Yes, Patli Dun, Kotli Dun and Dehra Dun are the important duns of the Himalayan mountains. Children, these things are not given in your book, so please make a note of it. Okay, next we'll discuss about the Great Northern Plains. These plains are situated to the south of the Himalayas and to the north of the peninsular plateaus. Where it is located? These plains are situated to the south of the Himalayas, to the north of the peninsular plateau. These plains are very fertile and flat. Then they are formed by the alluvial deposits laid down by the Himalayan rivers, especially by the Indus and the Ganga and the Brahmaputra and their tributaries. Clear, children? These plains are very fertile and flat. They are formed by the alluvial deposits laid down by the rivers, Himalayan rivers, especially by what, children? Yes, the Indus and the Ganga and the Brahmaputra and their tributaries. Okay, it is one of the world's largest alluvial plains. Which is called as world's largest alluvial plains? The Great Northern Plains. Okay. Then it is bounded by the Himalayas in the north and the peninsular plateau in the south. Okay. Next, extent. We will discuss about the extent. Okay. Its east to west extent is about how many kilometers? 2,400 kilometers. Okay. And its width may varies from 90 to 100 kilometer. The east-west extent is about how many kilometers? 2,400 kilometers, and its width may varies from 90 to 100 kilometer. These river plains provide fertile land for cultivation. Okay, this is because a large number of people live in the northern plains. Okay, next we'll discuss about the Great Peninsular Plateau. It lies to the south of the northern plains. Mainly it forms an irregular triangle with broad base in the north and the apex in the south. Aravalli Hills is one of the oldest ranges of the world, which is called as the oldest range of the world. Aravalli Hills is the oldest range of the world. border it is on the northwest side. Okay. Then the Western Ghats border the plateau in the west and the Eastern Ghats bound in its case. Then one main important thing is it is the oldest landmass of India. It is made up of very ancient crystalline hot igneous and metamorphic rocks, which is called as the oldest landmass of India. As the Great Peninsular Plateau is called the oldest landmass of India. It is made up of It is made up of very ancient crystalline hot igneous and metamorphic rocks. This region has many hill ranges and valleys, especially the Deccan Malwa and the Chota Nagpur are the main plateaus of this region. Okay, Deccan Plateau and the Chota Nagpur Plateau are the main plateaus of this region. Then Anaimudi 2695 meter is the highest peak of South India. Then the important rivers of the peninsular plateau are Narmada, Tapi, Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. Of this, Narmada and Tapi are west flowing rivers that drains into where? That drains into the Arabian Sea. While Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri are the east flowing rivers that drains into the Bay of Bengal. Clear, children? The plateau is fully rich in minerals such as coal and iron ore. Which plateau is rich in minerals? Yes, the Great Peninsular Plateau is rich in minerals such as coal and iron ore. Okay, children, next we'll discuss about the Great Indian Desert. It lies to the west of the Great Northern Plains. It lies to the west of the Great Northern Plains. It occupies a major part of the Rajasthan in India. Okay. It is also known as what, children? Yes, it is also known as Thar Desert. The Thar Desert is one of the world's biggest desert. This desert is covered with which type of soil? Yes, sandy soil. Then it is the hottest and driest region of India. Mainly it lacks in water. Some streams appears during rainy season but disappear after that. These streams do not have enough water to make them flow. So therefore they dry up and disappear into the sand. Children, or you understand what I am telling? Okay. It is the hottest and driest regions of India. It lacks in water. So some streams appear during only in the rainy season. Okay. These streams do not have enough water to make them flow. So after that they disappear automatically. Okay, children, next one main important thing is Luni is only large river of this desert. What is the name of the large river of the Thar Desert? Yes, Luni. Clear, children? Okay, children, we'll move on to next one. Next one is the coastal plains. Okay, children, we'll move on to next one. Next we'll discuss about the coastal plains. Okay. These are found on the both sides of the peninsular plateau. Which one is found on both sides of the peninsular plateau? As the coastal plains are found on the both sides of the peninsular plateau. To the east of the Eastern Ghats lies the eastern coastal plain, while to the west of the Western Ghats is the western coastal plains. Clear, children? Children, are you understand what I am telling? To the east of the Eastern Ghats lies what? Lies the eastern coastal plain, while to the west of the Eastern Ghats, west of the Western Ghats is the western coastal plain. Okay. Thus, the northern plateau is flanked by a narrow coastal strips on both sides, That is, the coastal strip that lies along the Arabian Sea is called what? Western coastal plain. Children, these things are not given in a book. Please make a note of it. While the coast that lies along the Bay of Bengal is known as Eastern coastal plain. Are you clear with that coastal plains? Once again, I'll repeat. Coastal plains, they are found on the both sides of the peninsular plateau. Okay. To the east of the Eastern Ghats lies where? Yes, Eastern coastal plain. While to the west, Western coastal plain. Okay. Then the northern plateau is flanked by a narrow coastal strip on both the sides. That the coastal strip that lies along the Arabian Sea is called what? Western coastal plain. That coast lies along the Bay of Bengal is known as Eastern coastal plains. Clear, children? Okay. I'll give some difference between the Eastern coastal plain and the Western coastal plain. First one is Eastern coastal plain. It stretches from the Sundarban Delta to Kanyakumari. Okay. Then it varies from width varies from 32 km to 200 km. Then it is wider as compared to the Western coastal plains. Then it is divided into two parts. One is Northern Circus, another one is Coromandel. Once again, I'll repeat all the points. Just please make a note of it. Eastern coastal plain, it stretches from the Sundarban Delta to Kanyakumari. Its width varies from 32 km to 200 km. Okay. It is wider as compared to the Western coastal plains. Then further it is divided into two parts. One is Northern Circus and another one is Coromandel. Okay, children. Next we will discuss about the Western coastal plains. It stretches from Rann of Kutch to Kanyakumari. Then it varies from 10 km to 65 km. Then it is a narrow strip divided into three parts. One is Kathiawar coast, Konkan coast and Malabar coast. Okay. Okay, children. Are you clear? Okay, we'll move on to next one. Next we'll discuss about the Eastern and Western Ghats. Are you clear, children? Okay, we'll move on to next one. Next we'll discuss about the Eastern and Western Ghats. The Eastern Ghats border the Northern Plateau in the east. Okay, whereas the Western Ghats or Shadrias provide the plateaus in the western boundary. Thus, these ghats are mainly found both the coastal plains and the peninsular plateau. Then the Eastern Ghats are the lower as compared to the Western Ghats. They rise gently from the east coast. Then the Western Ghats are almost continuous while the Eastern Ghats are broken and uneven. Then the one main thing, the highest peak of Eastern Ghats is Mahendragiri. It's about 1500 meter. Is the highest peak of Eastern Ghats. While Anaimudi is the highest peak of what? Western Ghats. It's about 2695 meter. Are you clear, children? Okay, we'll move on to next one. Next we'll discuss about the island groups. An island can be defined as a piece of land surrounded by water. Then the Lakshadweep and Andaman and Nicobar Islands are the main island groups of what? Island groups of India. Clear, children? An island can be defined as a piece of land surrounded by a water. Then main island groups of India are what? Lakshadweep, Andaman and Nicobar Islands are the main island groups of India. Then the Lakshadweep Islands are situated in where? Situated in the Arabian Sea. they are also known as coral islands. Why it is called as coral islands? Because they formed on corals. What is mean by corals? The skeleton of polyps. Clear, children? They consist of a large number of coral islands. In fact, corals are the skeletons of tiny marine animals. What it means, coral? Corals, yes, corals are the skeletons of tiny marine animals called polyps. When the living polyps die, their skeletons are left. Further, other polyps grown on top of these skeletons. In this way, it grows higher and higher and form the coral islands. Okay, children, what did it mean, coral islands? Lakshadweep are situated in the Arabian Sea, and also it is called as what? Coral islands. They consist a large number of coral islands. In fact, corals are what? Corals are the skeletons of tiny marine animals called polyps. Clear? When the living polyps die, their skeleton are left, isn't it? Further, other polyps grown on the top of these skeleton. In this way, it grows higher and higher, form the coral islands. Andaman and Nicobar Islands lie in the Bay of Bengal. Then most of these islands are volcanic in nature. Barren Island of Andaman and Nicobar is the only active volcano of India. Children, once again I will repeat the island groups. An island, what is mean by island? Island can be defined as a piece of land surrounded by what? Surrounded by water. Clear? Then the Lakshadweep Islands, Lakshadweep and Andaman and Nicobar Islands are the main island groups of what? Main island groups of India. Then the Lakshadweep Islands are situated in the Arabian Sea. Okay. They are also known as coral islands. What it mean, coral islands? Because why it is called as coral islands? Because they formed on corals. What it mean, corals? Corals are nothing but the skeleton of polyps. Okay. What it mean, polyps? Okay, I'll tell you. They consist of a large number of coral islands. In fact, corals are the skeletons of tiny marine animals called polyps. Are you clear? What it mean, polyps? Corals are the skeletons of the tiny marine animals called polyps. When the living polyps die, their skeletons are left, isn't it? Further, other polyps grown on the top of those skeletons. In this way, it grows higher and higher and form the coral islands. Extremely sorry for that, coral islands. Andaman and Nicobar Islands lies in the Bay of Bengal. Then one main thing, most of these islands are volcanic in nature, but barren island of Andaman and Nicobar Island is the only active volcano of India. Are you clear, children? Okay, once again I will repeat what it means. Mountain, a steep or gentle sided hill over 600 meter high from its surrounding is called what? Mountain. Clear, children? Then what it means, plateaus? A plateau is a broad and flat topped land rising sharply from the neighboring lowland. Are you clear? Then what it means, plains? A plain is a flat and relatively low lying land. Okay. Then island, a piece of land surrounded by a water. Are you clear? Do you know the difference between the mountains, plateaus, plains and islands, isn't it? Okay, once again repeat what it mean, island. A piece of land is surrounded by water. Then plateaus. A plateau is a broad and flat topped land rising sharply from the neighboring lowlands. Then mountains, a steep or gentle sided hill over 600 meter height from its surrounding is called what? Mountain. Then plains. What did it mean plains? A plain is a flat and relatively low-lying land. Okay children, I will ask the another question. What are the three main parallel mountain ranges found in the Himalayas? Yes, one is Himadri, Himachal and Shivaliks. Okay. Then the Great Indian Desert is also known as what? Thar Desert. I hope you all understand this chapter clearly. We'll see in next video class. Thank you students.